part of the state team, please do let me know right away. And secondly, once we've created the state plan, which, as I said, will likely mirror the task force report, it would be great if at that point we could have a motion to say, the governor's task force supports this state plan. I think that would be a marvelous way to endorse it and perhaps make sure we get the federal funding when the time comes.
Okay. When that plan is available, we'll bring it up, and if that's the will of the task force, we'll bring it up.
Jeff, since you're not here and I can't tell you in the hall, I'm definitely interested in that as well. So if you have any, this is Kelly, by the way, if you have any information you can send me in addition to what's already been sent out, if you're still looking for people, I can participate, or some of the other people I know, just let me know.
Great. Thank you, Kelly.
Sure.
Okay. All right. All right. Anything else? Why don't we go ahead, Mr. Cantor?
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. I'm not sure if this specifically goes in one spot or another, but based on the discussion we just had about early interventions, one of the first places people go when they find out that they have a son or daughter with autism is they go to the card centers. And to bring to the task force attention, I guess an update and maybe to reinvigorate some of the things we worked on a few months back. It's come to my attention, and some of you are also aware of it, the problems that are happening with what's called the Northeast Florida Card, or known as the Jacksonville Card Center. We have the card centers throughout the state. I believe we have 7 of them, and they are by statute meant to give consistent care for our families dealing with autism spectrum disorders and related disabilities. We have a situation where we have one card that is very, very different than the others. We have a situation where politics is getting in the way of taking care of people in Northeast Florida, which are very, very far from my home in Palm Beach County. But when I think about what's going on there, and I think about what would happen if it was in my backyard, it sickens me. So I want to talk to you about that for a few moments and let you know what I have recently learned. Ms. Laura Pop came to come in front of our group a few months back. Mom, she was a nurse who shared with us some of the concerns that she had for the card center. And when she first got here and first came in front of us, I wasn't sure if she and some of the other folks that I had talked to or emailed back and forth over the course of time were just disgruntled parents who thought that a card center, in this case, wasn't doing what they needed for their children. And to be quite frank with you, there's not enough funding for the card centers to do the things that are needed in general. So if that's the only place that's out there and you're not getting what you expect, maybe some parents could feel as though they weren't doing their jobs. But as I started to learn and review the information, it's clear to me that we have a rogue card center, which is doing a disservice to the people of Florida, and especially those folks who need it the most. And what's interesting to me is the folks that are really pushing the hardest right now concerning this issue are ones whose children either have kind of aged out of the necessary services there, or realize they're going some other place but don't want it to happen to others and the children of others. And so I want to tell you that I've been reviewing recently the audit that was done. While the audit that was done was not super comprehensive, and there was an audit done by the Jacksonville Card. And I asked a few questions earlier today of Dr. Weatherby, and I would ask the same ones of Dr. Berkman, although I think I'm going to get the same answer. And I want to let you know that the Jacksonville Card, over a number of years, up until the time that Mr. Wharton was indicted and now is a felon, spent lots and lots of money on things like fees at country clubs for dinners and for events. They had several employees that were all $100,000 a year plus employees. They paid for flowers for people. They paid for the malpractice insurance for a number of the doctors that are there, which we don't even know if they really gave any services, but they were paying for the malpractice. Mr. Wharton had disability insurance. He had there was 5 different insurances that he was being paid all out of your tax dollars. And this is all coming about because we have a loophole inserted into the law that establishes the card that allows for the so-called medical model to be employed. Now, the task force, we agreed not to do that. In fact, we made a recommendation. We thought it should not be done. My understanding is a couple of years ago, it was sunsetted, and there was some discussion that we needed to allow it to last for just a little bit longer to take care of contracts. I guess that meant there were people that hadn't stolen all the money yet, and they needed to make sure that they could steal some more. And then last year it was supposed to go back out, and then it was reinserted back into the legislation by a senator from Northeast Florida. I'm a conservative Republican. I appreciate that. I'm not an old guy network. And we have an old guy network that's working up in Jacksonville right now. It's doing disservice to the people of Florida. And I believe that the Attorney General needs to look at the issues that are happening there. I think the Department of Education has abdicated its role here in the oversight, because that's what needs to happen. The money comes through the Department of Education. It needs to be reviewed. I have the copy